Welcome to a movie review. This is Andrew Wooster, and today we're here to talk about The Aeronauts, which is an Amazon Prime original movie that came out a year ago or so, starring Felicity Jones and Eddie Redmayne, who also starred in The Theory of Everything, which is a Stephen Hawking movie that came out a few years back and actually won the Academy Award, or at least he was nominated. Eddie Redmayne was for the role as Stephen Hawking. And I've been a fan of both of theirs, and I've been a fan of Felicity Jones, especially since the Rogue One movie, which I think is the template of how all Star Wars movies should be made in the future, as it's the only one post-original trilogy that I've actually thoroughly, fully enjoyed from start to finish. And I thought that was a great concept, and I thought she was fantastic in that role. And this was mostly her movie. It was a co-star movie. They were together in the movie by themselves for most of the time. And it's a story about I guess aeronauting is hot air balloons, or I don't know if that's the right term for it, but that's what I look at it as the hot air balloons. And Felicity Jones plays a character who husband. I'm not gonna give it. It's not a spoiler because it's kind of it's understood pretty much from the beginning. Her husband dies in a hot air balloon accident as they were kind of adventurers. And scientists and kind of wanted to break different records in the hot air balloons. So she has kind of a tragic past leading up to it. And Eddie Redmayne is a scientist who believes in meteorology and believes in being able to predict the weather patterns. And this is a time where, late 1800s, where this wasn't really a thing. And this wasn't not only not a thing, but it wasn't believed that it could be a thing. And you see the conflict with his superiors or his elders or the people that had control of finances and resources. And you saw his proposals being laughed at. And the one person that he finds and is able to get to is Felicity Jones's character. Amelia something. Not Amelia Earhart. That's, I believe, an American. But anyways, they're both in England. And so after some doing, he convinces her to do a flight with him in the balloon. And it's the main objective here is to reach the highest point a hot air balloon a human has ever been at that point, through the balloon. His overall goal is to do weather measuring patterns so we can have the data, so we can kind of bring it back. It's like, look, this is how it's all works, and I was right, and this is the data I have, and this is how we can determine different things now. And the movie was definitely slow in parts, and it kind of wanted to, and that's kind of, I think, it was not supposed to be this action-adventure movie. It's more supposed to be a movie about the science and about these two, they're kids. I mean, they're in their 20s. They're two kids that are really trying to accomplish something that the world around them doesn't believe that they can accomplish, but they have this belief in themselves, and because they are able to find each other and work with each other, they're able to accomplish things that they wouldn't without one another. And that's kind of an interesting theme that I've had over the last couple movies I've seen, which I don't know if it's just because I'm watching the same kind of movies or that's just more of a normal theme that I'm aware of, but he needed her because she was going to be able to finance the balloon and get the balloon made so they can go up on this adventure to reach, the highest point humans have ever been. And because of that, he would be able to do all his measuring and his science experiments and get the data that he wants to further his pursuit of his goals. She needed him because she was stuck after her husband died in a balloon accident. And all her knowledge and all the joy and all the person that she was taken away after that because she didn't feel like she could go back up in a balloon. And that's really who she was with her husband and who she was now. And that was broken. And because of his persistence and because of his idea and being able to put everything together on his end, she was able to go back up in a balloon and reach for something and to accomplish something again and feel more validated and feel more of her life wasn't meaningless anymore. There was this whole big empty hole that was part of her life was not being repaired, but it was not just left there to fester, that she could kind of move on to a part of who she was. And the story was told mostly with them going up in the balloon and then flashbacks of how they met and how they got there and their different struggles to get there. And like I said, it was slow in parts, but I like both those actors a lot. So their chemistry, and their chemistry together is really great. So just seeing them on screen again was really fun to watch. It was a little slow though. It wasn't trying to be a big action movie, even though it did have certainly towards the end it has a lot of intensity scenes and kind of a lot of scenes that were like dramatic and caught you like, how are they going to do this? And the one other thing I will mention, from the beginning when they're up in the hot air balloon, I'm not the biggest fan of heights. So heights on any level kind of freak me out. And some of the visuals, although beautiful, especially when they get to the clouds, the cinematography of how they showed when they're in the clouds and above the clouds as they get pretty high. But the shots that they had gave me vertigo. I mean, if you don't like heights, just be cautious going into this, because it really, their core, their forearm, and their wrist strength that they have, remarkable. Just remarkable, and their ability not to be, their balance and their ability not to be swayed, of how they're adjusting or how they're not even like, when I'm in the, I've never been in a hot air balloon, but if I'm in a hot air balloon, I'm staying in the hot air balloon, and I'm staying, a distance away, so I'm not going to tip anything or whatever. I'm not going to take any chances on whatever. But these people are standing on top of the hot air balloon, on top of the basket they have, and holding on to the ropes and kind of leaning forward. And I'm like, what the heck are you, like, if that's mandated, if that's what you have to do to like kind of alter something or fix something for the balloon, I guess I get it. But I mean, that's why I guess I'm not on there, because that's I would, even thinking about it, I just know I would die. I'm confident that if I try that, I would die. But they have no fear. And that's partly when they get to some more of the dramatic parts, you're like, okay, well, it's been established that they don't have the fear and they know what they're doing. And even though Eddie Redmayne's character hasn't had any practical experience in hot air balloon, that's why the Amelia character, the Felicity Jones character, is there, because she's has a lot of experience as a pilot. And so she's able to fix things when they go wrong. In some sort of crazy way. At some points, it's like, wow. Like the people that had to, the ones before us that had to kind of break the barriers of what we take for granted now, as far as flying or weather or all these different things, all these scientific discoveries, to understand how there's someone there that at one point people thought their idea was crazy, or their way what they had to do to prove or get more data for their idea. That was crazy. But these people were crazy on the best possible level in their pursuit for knowledge and their pursuit to help mankind. Because without these people, we would not know these things. And we take it all for granted now, but to see, this is based on a true story. So to see their determination against all odds and see how they found each other, and so happy they found each other, because without one another, they wouldn't have reached it. If they didn't collide, if they weren't able to work together, who knows how long it would have taken for someone else to be able to get on that path. Because in this story, in this time, when they actually did it, there was no one else even considering what this guy came up with, his ideas. So, and that part of it was really an exciting watch, and thrilling to see how scientific discoveries really come about. And that's really what I took away from it. Again, there's parts, I don't want to keep on harping on it. It's slow in parts, so just be prepared for that. But it is worth sticking with. The ending is really dramatic and really has a good message to it as well, I think. So it's called The Aeronauts. It's on Amazon Prime. It's one of their original movies. Right now it's available. Certainly check it out. Appreciate you spending around 9 minutes here with me. Until next time, take care.